passed away when I was a kid, so I really didn't get to watch it. But it's my privilege, the honor to give you guys from the dead Woody Hayes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the hand. I've got a couple notes here that I made out today that I was asked to do for you specifically and specially. So I'm going to go over a couple things today. We're going to talk about teamwork. In football and in life, working together as a team is what separates great teams from mediocre teams. And that's whether you're playing football or whether you're cheerleading. It doesn't matter. Teamwork is what matters. The people that keep your electricity on, so you have light, teachers at your school, banks, software companies, restaurants, law enforcement, all of these entities, they work as a team. Do you think Archie Griffin would have won 2 Heisman trophies if he didn't have an offensive line that blocked for him? Or if he had teammates that did their job, everybody doing their job to make the team go? Every player here today and every cheerleader here today becomes better if you're unselfish. And if you do your job and try to make everyone around you better. And there are a lot of athletes out here in the world, whether they play in the NFL or college or even high school right now, and that never win as a team. And they might need great players. But do you think Eddie George or Troy Smith would win a Heisman Trophy without the rest of their team doing their job? Do you think we won a national championship a couple of years ago when Ezekiel Elliott took off around the left end and scored against Alabama if Evan Spencer didn't make that key block? Everybody was cheering and rah, rah, rah. But it was that key block by that wide receiver on the left end that sprung him. That's called teamwork. Now, I want to talk about grades and education. And I know we talked about that a little bit earlier. Remember this term, student athlete. If you play football or cheerlead or anything else, baseball doesn't matter, your grades will be the first thing that's calculated before you're given permission to play. You can be the greatest athlete in the world and you're not going to play if your grades aren't up to par. Different schools have different averages that they want you to keep so that you can become eligible. If you don't do that, you're not going to play for me, you're not going to play for Coach Meyer, you're not going to play for anybody. And definitely on the high school level. You'll be ineligible. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, why do I need good grades if I'm a great athlete? Well, you can answer me this question because this is important. What happens if you're not as great as you think you are? What happens if you never play? Or what if you're great but you can't stay eligible? Or how about this? What if you make it all the way to the NFL and your rookie year you get a knee injury and you're out for your career and that's it? You counted on that during your whole upbringing thinking, I'm going to make it to the NFL and that's going to be the thing that propels me into having financial success. The lesson here is you're a student athlete first and an athlete second. That's the lesson. If you get your education, you'll always have something to fall back on. And I've seen players make it to the NFL, stay healthy, they'll lose all their money. Why? Because they didn't learn to manage money. Well, where does managing money come from? Where do you learn that skill? Anybody? Right here. School. That's right. I want you all to get your education. Make that your first goal and you'll go real far. I had a player once who graduated from Ohio State, went on, moved to Boston, and decided to go to medical school. And he calls me one day and says, Coach, I can't finish medical school. I'm going to drop out. Well, I hopped on a plane and I went up there and kicked him right in the butt and said, you're going to finish medical school because you're this close to finishing. And you're not going to waste that effort. No way. No how. Now, I want to talk to you about respecting your parents, your coaches, and your teachers for a minute. Has anyone here ever disrespected their mom or their dad? Raise your hand. Okay? Have you ever gotten handy with a teacher? You ever gotten handy with a teacher before? Yeah? Have you ever argued with a coach? No? Yeah? When your parents, wait, hold on now. Hey. When your parents tell you it's time for bed, do you go straight to bed, you give them a lip, or do you keep playing that video game?
Keep on going to bed.
Ah, I see. You go to bed, huh? Yeah. I think a lot of kids would say that. All right. Right here. Part of learning is listening to those that are wiser and smarter than you are. Think about that for a second. Part of learning is listening to those that are wiser and smarter than you are. Now, mastering that is a form of discipline. Remember that word, discipline, because that's what's going to propel you, not just on the athletic field and in the classroom, but whatever you do in life. I love smart football players. They almost always have one thing in common, and that's discipline. And I'll tell you right now, that's the difference between a 3-star recruit and a 5-star recruit. I'd rather have a 3-star recruit that busts his butt in the classroom and on the field than a 5-star recruit that's coddled his whole life and everybody tells him how great he is, and then when he gets to college, guess what? He's not as great as he thought he was. It's not quite as good as he thought. If you think you're the big dog and no one can tell you what to do, you're in for a rude awakening. Because you're not the big dog. There's always somebody bigger. If you want to succeed, work harder than everyone around you. He was talking about it earlier before lunch, that little bit extra. Putting in a little extra work, it matters. Do it together though. Build something special together, whether it's here at Philo or down the road at Maysville or Sheridan or wherever you're from. If you're putting something together, do something special together, because that's when it's really special. Listen to your parents. Listen to your coaches, your teachers. If you just listen, you'll be surprised what you can learn. I want to talk about bullying and youth suicide for a second. You will never play football for me or any other coach that I know if you're a bully. Think about that for a second. Human beings can be cruel to one another, and that includes kids. Always remember the golden rule: do unto others as you have them do unto you. That's right. What does that mean? Does anybody know? Anybody know what it is? What does that mean? That's right. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Why not build each other up? Build each other up. Help each other. Teamwork, remember? Kids and adults are committing suicide all over America today due to hurt feelings. Okay? And hurt feelings are caused by nasty rumors and things that people say about one another. Please don't fall into this trap, because you can be kind to one another. It's not a zero-sum game where somebody has to lose. Be good to one another. Be nice to one another. Help each other. Every single one of us is different. Some people are skinny. Some people are fat, bigger. Some people have glasses. Some people have warts. Some people have freckles, scars. Some people are blind. Some people are deaf. But we all have things that when we look in the mirror, we might be ashamed of, or something we don't like about ourselves. We all have something. And if you're being truthful to yourself, you'll admit that. We all fall short somewhere because we're not perfect. Thank God, that's what makes us special. Social media. Excuse me over here. Can you stop talking while I'm talking? Thank you. Social media. Avoid it like the plague. Okay? If you want to use it for family and pictures, that's great. But if you're using it to spread gossip or bully someone or promote negativity, please don't do it. What a waste of your time. If school's out, why don't you read a book? Feed your brain. Okay? If you've already done that, help out with the chores. Maybe your mom and dad need the grass mowed or the dishes done. Step up and help your parents. They need your help. If you've done all that, work on your athletic skills. You'll have time to do that if you've done the right things. It's summertime. We played from sunup to sundown when I was a kid, and we didn't need social media or video games to run our life. Are they tools that can help us, make us smarter? Sure. But too much of it is unhealthy, and we have to change that in America. I want you boys and girls to take the bull by the horns and be the first, not to recognize, but be the change we need. Make it happen. Next time you catch yourself playing video games or on the computer, think about what else you could be doing to better yourselves or help your parents. Try not to be selfish and think outside yourselves for just 1 minute. And finally, every detail matters. General Patton is one of my heroes. I've even molded my offenses around Patton using his military strategies. Perfect execution by every man and woman doing their job is what makes an offense execute. Most teams playing against us, they even knew what we were going to do, and they still couldn't stop us. And the reason they couldn't stop us is because we were that much better. We worked that hard for each other. We were a real team. So when I call Patton 32 or Patton 33, the ball's going to the fullback on the right or the left, up the gut, what are you going to do about it? I used to laugh at coaches on the other side of the field because I could see them getting so discouraged and so upset about it, but they just couldn't stop it. They'd want to tap out. And that's fine, God bless them, we'd beat their butt 72-0. If you pay attention and listen to your coaches, your teachers, your parents, you can do anything. Do your job. And then the team wins, and you're part of a winner. Now, I want to know from you guys from the hurdle response. This is all I've got to say. I want to know if you're going to do it. Will you do it? Yeah. All right, everybody get in here right now. Everybody get in here right now. Get in here as close as you can. All right, listen.